Hi, this is Teacher Julie and we are now in the next exam paper. Today we will be doing 2018 SA2 Paper 2 for Nanyang Primary School. I hope that this session will be beneficial to you. Work hard with me and let's start together. Question 1. Farid had bracket 4K plus 6 close bracket pencils. He bought another K pencil and packed all the pencil equally into 3 boxes. How many pencils were there in each box? Give your answers in terms of K in the simplest form. So, at first, Farid had 4K plus 6 of pencil and he bought another K. So you have to do a plus K. And then it was packed into 3 equal boxes. So because the question asks for each, so we know that it has to be divided by 3. So this is actually equals to 4K plus K is actually equals to 5K. So plus 6 divided by 3. So this is our answers. Notice that for this question, we do not need to put a bracket in our answers because this is not a dollar sign or a unit like meter or cm that's required for the answer. This is just the number of items. So let's review what we have learned for this question. We learned about algebra, int, want, variable, and also algebra, fraction. Question 2. A bicycle costs $617.10 after a discount of 15%. What was the selling price of the bicycle before the discount? To do this question, you have to understand that to sell an item, there's such a thing called selling price. And when a price is set, okay, it is considered 100% of the price. And whenever there's a discount, you basically pay less. So if there's a discount of 15%, so you pay less by 15% and therefore you only need to pay 85% of the selling price. So 85% is equivalent to 617.10. So the trick is to find 1%, which is actually equals to 617.1 divided by 85. And to find 100%, it will be 617.1 divided by 85 multiplied by 100%, and our answer is actually equals to $726. So let's recap what we have learned here. We learned about percentage and we learned about discount. We also learned the importance of finding one of something before we can find 100%, which is the full selling price of the item, the bicycle. Question 3. A tank is empty at first. It takes 12 minutes to fill up the tank completely with tap A alone. It takes 8 minutes to fill up the tank completely with tap B alone. Starting with an empty tank, how long does it take for both taps together to fill half of the tank? So to do this question, it's good if we can look at it from a table perspective. So we have A and B. The time taken to fill up the tank is 12 minutes for tap A and 8 minutes for tap B. So fraction of the tank filled every minute per minute is actually equals to 1 divided by 12, which is 1 over 12 of the tank. For B, it will be 1 divided by 8, which is 1 over 8. So to find them working together, we will do a total here, and it will be 1 over 12 plus 1 over 8, which is equals to, so we have to make the denominator the same. It is not to multiply by each other because the number will be big. But this is a calculator question, so I think it's very manageable. But I will just show you times 2, and here will be times 3, times 3. So this is actually 2 over 24 plus 3 over 24, and it will be 5 over 24. So to fill the entire tank, how are we going to use this to help us? So for every 1 minute, together they can fill up 5 over 24 of the tank. So what it means is that 5 over 24 of the tank will take 1 minute. So how about to fill up one tank? One tank will be 1 divided by 5 over 24, which is actually equals to 1. When you do fraction division, divide change to times, and this will become 25 over 5, which will be equal to 4.8 minutes. But the question didn't ask us for the full tank. The question asked us for half the tank. So to do half the tank, it will be half the time, which is 4.8 divided by 2, and it will be 2.4 minutes. Let's recap what we have learned. So we learned about rate involving more than one object because we have tab A and tab B, and we also learned about fraction division. Question 4. In the figure below, WXYZ is a square. The shaded parts A and B are two squares with different areas. All the corners of square A and B lie either on the side of square WXYZ or on the line WO and XZ. What fraction of the square WXYZ is shaded? So we can see that there's a square here with two smaller squares of different area. So what is the easiest thing to do? Let me just cut this up so that you can see more clearly. I'm going to cut this into 9 squares. So by cutting them up, you can see that the shape is becoming more easily seen, so that even for the shaded side, it will be the same size for every triangle. So we can tell now that all has been changed into smaller triangle. So to find the fraction of wxyz to be shaded, it will be shaded over total. So we can see that the shaded part will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is actually 6 over the total will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 here, we have another 6 here, and finally 6 here. So total is actually 18. So when we reduce this, it will become 1/3. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned about the square and the triangle that's inside the square. We learned to cut them into equal size so that we can see it more clearly. And we also learned about fraction of a whole. Finally, we learned to simplify the fraction. So, fraction simplest. Question 5. A, B, and C are different two-digit numbers. Their average is 30. Find the greatest possible difference between B and C. So, in order to have a very big difference between B and C, it means that this has to be the smallest possible number, while this has to be the largest possible number. So for two-digit, what is the smallest possible number? It will be 10. And what is the largest possible number? It will be 99. But before we decide whether we can reach 99, let's look at the average. The average is 30. So what this means is the total will be 3, because there are 3 letters, times 30, which is equals to 90. So definitely 99 will not be part of the possibility. So if I draw a model for you to explain, so this will be the first number. The second number must be kept as low as possible too. So we make it a +1. And finally, we make a huge number here. And this huge gap is the critical factor so that we can come up with the smallest and the biggest and find the difference. So the total here must be 90. So we can safely assume that this smallest number must be 10. The next one will be equal to 11. So to find the biggest number, we use 90 minus 10 minus 11, which is actually equals to 69. So since this number is actually equals to 69 and the smallest number is actually 10, the difference will be 69 minus 10, and it will be 59. Let's recap what we have learned. For this question, we learned that we can use a model more than and less than, or is the comparison model. We also can see that we use the concept of average to find the total, and we also realize that we are using the concept of minimum and maximum to find the value of each letters. Question 6. In the square grid below, two sides of a parallelogram have been drawn. Each side is drawn by joining dots on the square grid with a straight line in the same way. A. Complete the drawing of the parallelogram, and B. Draw a trapezium in the square grid with the same parameter as the parallelogram, such that it does not overlap the parallelogram. C. Measure and write down the size of an obtuse angle in the parallelogram. Okay, to do this question, you can see that there's no image here. I think it has already been deleted. So let me just give it to you now. Before I start to draw a parallelogram, you must know how a parallelogram looks like. This is a parallelogram. Okay, it has two equal lines opposite of each other and another two opposite of each other, and each pair are parallel lines. So to help us draw this, we have to notice the angle that it tilts. So if you can see this, you can see that the slanted line is actually using 3 square as a benchmark. So I will now do the same, and you can also see that here there is the first dot is here, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this is also 6 dot. So I will join it. Please use a ruler when you do this and touch every single point. Okay, so right now we need to draw a trapezium with the same parameter. So to see how a trapezium looks like, the rule is that it only has one pair of parallel lines. Okay, and then we have two different lines that are not parallel but joined to form this four-sided figure. So in order to have the same parameter, then my suggestion is that we follow the same tilt. Okay, so let's draw a tilt first. So then the next tilt that we have to do has to look like it is stretching outwards. But in order to stretch it outwards, we have to think about the distance from here to here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also 5, right? So we can actually, because one has to be shorter than the other, so we can't make this 5 and 5. So my suggestion is we make this 4 and 6. So let's do 4 first. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the other side, let's do a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice that now the tilt is still the same. It's just that it is a mirror image. Finally, the question asks us to find the side of an obtuse angle. So an obtuse angle is definitely more than 90 degrees. So if this is the parallelogram, we have to find this angle that is here. And if you have done it accurately, The answer will be 108 degree. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned about how to draw a parallelogram and also a trapezium. We also learned how to measure the angles, and this time it is an obtuse angle. Of course, we learned about the parameter of a parallelogram and a trapezium. Question 7. In the figure below, ABCD is a square and ECD is an isosceles triangle. Angle DEC is equals to 98 degree and angle ABE is equal to 38 degree. Find angle BEC. So the important thing is whatever angle you want to find, it's good to actually highlight. So to find this angle here, we have to look at the surrounding information. Okay, for example, this is a right angle because this is a square, and therefore we may need to find this degree here and also this degree here so that we can find BEC. So let's try. So number one, to find the degree here, we need to use 90 degree minus 38 degree, which is equal to 52 degree. So this is 52 degree. Then we would like to take a look at here. So 180 degree minus 78 degree divided by 2 will be the degree here and here, because this is angle sum of triangle and this is also an isosceles triangle. So the answer will be 51 degree. So we have 51 degree here and also here. It's good to write into the figures, but always use a pencil in case you write the wrong thing and the whole thing becomes very dirty and messy. So now we know that this is also 90 degree. So if we use 90 degree minus 51 degree, it will be equal to 39 degree, which is actually at here. So finally, to find our angle BEC, we just need to use angle sum of triangle, which is 180 degree minus 52 degree and minus 39 degree, and our answer will be 89 degree. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned the concept of the square. So by knowing that this is a square, we can use the concept of right angle. We can also see that we can make use of the isosceles triangle to help us find the angles here, and we also use angles sum of triangle, so we can find this degree here and also use the same property to find this degree here. Question 8. Mr. Lee has a total of 36 coins. They consist of 20 cent, 50 cent, and $1 coins. He has twice as many $1 coins as 20 cent coins. The total value of the 50 cent coin is $4.40 more than the total value of the 20 cent coins. How many $1 coins does Mr. Lee have? So in this question, you can see this word value. And since there are numbers of item and the value of item, it is a high likelihood that the concept tested will be actually numbers times value. I see in the answer key that they use guess and check, or I think supposition, but it is using too much time and it's only 3 marks, so you should try to use shorter method. Okay, the shortest method most of the time is actually unit table. It can solve a lot of questions. It's only when you can't, then you use other heuristic methods. Okay, and if it's really you can't, don't try to force it. Finish the paper and then go back and do the tough ones. Okay, let's do this now. So we have 20-cent coins, we have 50-cent coins, and we have $1 coin. So here it says that he has twice as many $1. So this is 2, and therefore this is 1. Okay, and notice that they didn't tell us anything about the 50 cents coin. Okay, and so this one is actually the number of coins based on sets. And also let's look at the value now. The value of 20-cent coin, of course, is 20 cents, right? So we'll put 20 here, 20 cents. Here it will be 50 cents, and here it will be 100 cents, not 1 cent. Be careful. Then we can actually call this unit and call this unit. And notice that it already say here that the total is 36. So we can actually put a total here and write 36. So since we know the total, we know this and this, we can now see that 50 cents is just 36, which is the total, minus 1 unit and minus 2 unit, which is actually minus 3 unit. Now we can try to figure out our numbers time value, which will be 20 times 1 unit is actually 20 unit. So this one is a little bit more tedious. It will be 50 multiplied by 36 minus 3 unit, and this will be 200 unit. So let me figure out this one first. So 50 multiplied by 36 is actually 1800. So negative 3 multiplied by 50 is actually negative 150 unit. So right now, the biggest clue that we have is actually at here. This is actually a quantity value, you know. So the total value of the 50 cent coin, which means this one, is 440 more than this one. So if you don't understand this sentence, allow me to just draw a quick model to show you. So now we are talking about the total value. So what it means is for the 50 cent coin, the total value is actually 1800 minus 150 unit. And the value here for the 50 cent coin must be longer, right? Because it's more than the 20 cent coin. So this is the 20 cent coin, and I'll just put it here. And this is actually 20 unit, right? And the difference is actually at here, which is 440, and it means it will be $1 is actually 100 cents. So 440 is actually equals to 440 cents, right? So this part here is 440. So we can use this information whenever you see something like more than or less than. Try to draw a comparison model whenever you're stuck and understand what is going on and create your units equation. Okay, so we will do it here. 1800 minus 150 unit is equal to 20 unit plus, because once we give the 20 cent coin another 4 440 cents, it is actually the same. So we plus a 440 here. So let's try to make the units on the left side and the number on the right side. This one, let me just help you with this. Okay, if you want to get rid of this, because negative 150 is definitely smaller than 20, right? Because this is a negative number. So now here we have to plus 150 unit here. Okay. And so here we have to minus a 440, and here we will minus a 440. Now the answer will be 170 unit is equal to 1360, and therefore 1 unit is equal to 1360 divided by 170, and it will be 8. So I always emphasize that 1 unit is very important. 1 unit is actually equals to 8. So how many $1 coin does Mr. Lee have? And it's actually 2 units. So now we can find our answer. So 2 unit is actually equals to 2 times 8, which is equals to 16, and we have completed the question. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned about number times value. We learned about units equation. We learned about twice, which is times as many. And we also learned about more than or less than. Question 9. Town P was exactly halfway between town M and town N. At 8 a.m., Nancy started traveling from town M to town P, while Seo Jun started traveling from town N to town M. Nancy traveled at 50 meters per minute, while Seo Jun traveled at 80 meters per minute. They did not change their speed throughout the journey. When they passed each other, their distance from town P was 120 meters. At what time did Seo Jun reach town M? Okay, we can see that there's actually quite a lot of information here, so my suggestion is draw a distant line so that it can help you to understand a lot better. So P is halfway, so P must be in the middle between M and N. So let's put Nancy at M, and therefore Seo Jun should be at here. Since Nancy traveled at a speed of 50 meters per minute, so I suggest that you can also draw your DST triangle here so that you can look at the relationship of the information very, very quickly. So here we have 50. Please be careful that you write it in the right triangle, and Seo Jun will be 80. The next information we need to have is that Nancy started at 8, and also Seo Jun started at 8 too. So both started at 8 a.m. And finally, when they meet, they will 120 meters from P, which is from here. So we have to decide, where is P? Is it here or is it here, right? Okay, so the clue is in that Nancy is slower than Seo Jun, right? Because this is 50 and this is 80. So definitely they are meeting at here. And the distance between here to here is actually 120 meters. So likewise, the distance from here to here is also 120 meters. You can see that if both of them travel the same speed, okay, then Nancy will be at here and Seojun will be at here. But it is because of the higher speed of Seojun, which is actually 80 minus 50, which is equals to 30. It was this extra speed per minute that caused Seojun to travel extra distance. So the extra distance is actually equals to 120 times 2, which is equals to 240. So 240 divided by 30 is actually equals to 8. So we can see that in order for children to reach here, he took 8 minutes. So now that we know he took 8 minutes, okay, it also means that Nancy took 8 minutes as well, right? Because they travel with the same starting time. So let's imagine now that instead of Nancy and Seojun, okay, moving towards one another, why don't we ask them to move towards the same direction and each of them cover the area that they can do. For example, Nancy will do 50 in that 1 minute and Seojun will do 80 in that 1 minute. So together in that 1 minute, they can do a total of 50 plus 80 meters, right? So every minute they can complete 130 meters. So what will happen in 8 minutes is 8 multiplied by 130, which is equals to 1040 meters. So it means that the distance between M and N is 1040 meters. So the question asks us what time did he reach? So assuming that he has to travel a distance of 1040 meter and his speed is 80. So we are going to find the time that he needs. So it will be 1040 divided by 80 and it will be 13 minutes. So since this is 13 minutes and he started at 8 a.m. So if this is the timeline and he started at 8 a.m. and he traveled for 13 minutes, he would have reached town M at 0813, which is our answer here. So what have we learned from this question? We learned to use the DST table. We also see that it's important to take note of same starting time and also different speed, because the difference in speed will affect where they meet. Okay, and since they meet, we are learning about meeting point, and we also learned about gap and difference, because what we did was we find the total extra distance and we divided it by the catch-up speed. Finally, we also learned about duration and also the 24-hour clock. Question 10. Ashley and Wei Shen have the mass of 43.3 kg each. The mass of Bernadette is 1.8 kg less than the average of Ashley, Wei-Shen, and Bernadette. Find the total mass of Ashley, Wei-Shen, and Bernadette. If you can see, this is actually a very nice and interesting question of average. I have not seen this type of question before, and so it was like playing around with different combination of people and their average. I was able to solve this, but I wanted a method that is easy for you to understand. So here we go. So first we have Ashley, Wei-Shen, and Bernadette. And the mass of this two person is actually 43.3 kg, and Wei-Shen is also 43.3 kg. So notice that they didn't give us the weight or the mass of Bernadette, right? So the next information is that Bernadette is actually 1.8 kg less than the average of this three person. So, but we do not know the average mass of this three person. So I have decided to use my favorite letter, U. So let this one be 1U for the average of Ashley. This will be 1U, and this will also be 1U. This is the average. Okay, so the total for the weight of this three person will be definitely 3U. And since we know that Bernadette is 1.8 kg less, so it will be definitely 1U minus 1.8. And since this is the total of the three person, and this is also the total of the three person, it means that the value that we get from here and here is actually the same. Good. So what will happen now will be we have to add this 3 together. 43.3 plus 43.3 plus 1U minus 1.8 is actually equals to 3 unit. So 3 unit will be equal to 1 unit. Okay, plus we are going to add this, and minus this. So this will be 84.8 kg. So now 3 unit minus 1 unit is actually equals to 84.8 kg. 2 unit is actually 84.8 kg, and therefore 1 unit is actually 84.8 divided by 2, and we will get 42.4. So now we have found our most important information, the 1 unit again, right? So what is the total mass of this three person? And it must be 3 unit. So here we find 3 unit, which is equals to 3 multiplied by 42.4. And our answer will be 127.2 kg. Let's recap what we have learned. So in this question, there are missing information that we do not know. We have no choice. We created 1 unit to represent the average mass of each person. And since we know the average mass of each person, we now can get the mass of Bernadette. So this is a average question, okay, and we have created unit equation to solve our question by creating a unit table so that we can understand the data very clearly. Question 11. In the figure below, EBCD is a trapezium. ED is parallel to BC. Angle FAB is equals to 74 degrees. and angle EBC is equals to 113 degree, find the sum of angle W, angle X, angle Y, and angle Z. So, we are supposed to find all these angles, so a good idea would be to highlight them so that we can see where they are. So since we have found them, let's try to solve it. In order to find this and this, we know that this is actually a triangle. So we can use angle sum of triangle to find Z and Y. So angle Z and angle Y is equals to 180 degree minus 74 degree, and we will get 96 degree. Then we need to find X and W, and it's actually not so hard to find X and W because this is a pair of parallel lines. And we know that when there is a pair of parallel lines, there are some properties that we can try to use. And one of them is actually the interior angle, where this angle and this angle add together will be 180 degree. So we can see that this angle and this angle here will form 180 degree. So angle BED is actually equals to 180 degree minus 113 degree, which is equal to 67 degree. So now that we know this is 67 degree, we can now find angle X and angle W, which is equal to 180 degree minus 67 degree because of angle sum of triangle, and this will be 113 degree. So to find the four angles, we can now use this and this. 96 degree plus 113 degree is equal to 209 degree. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned about the trapezium. We learned to take note of parallel lines so that we can find important angles properties like interior angles. We also use angle sum of triangle to solve our questions. Madam Le, Mr. Chan, and Madam Ng bought some blue and some yellow highlighters. Each blue highlighters cost 30 cents, more than each yellow highlighters. The table below shows number of highlighters each of them bought for each color. Number of blue highlighters, number of yellow highlighters bought. Madam Le, 10 blue, 17 yellow. Mr. Chan, 7 blue, 20 yellow. Madam Ng, 12 blue and 15 yellow. A. Madam Ng spent an equal amount of money on the blue highlighters and on the yellow highlighters. How much did each blue highlighters cost? Part B. Find the difference between Madam Le total spending on the highlighter and Mr. Chan total spending on the highlighters. To do part A, the important thing to take note of is this word equal. So equal amount of money was spent. So for Madam Ng, okay, let's look at the blue highlighter. For the blue highlighter, the price of the yellow is actually less than the price of the blue by 30 cents. So we can make the price of the yellow highlighter be 1 unit, and therefore the price of the blue highlighter will be 1 unit plus 30 cents. So we can see that if Madam Ng bought the blue highlighter, it would have cost her 12 multiplied by 1U plus 30. And the price of the yellow highlighter will be 15 multiplied by 1U. And they are equal in amount. So now we can see that 12 unit plus 12 times 30 is 360 is equal to 15 unit. So if we don't want the 12 unit here, we would have to minus 12 unit from here as well. So 3 unit is equals to 360 and 1 unit is equals to 360 divided by 3, and it will be 120. So 120 will be the price of the yellow highlighter in cents. Therefore, the blue highlighter will be 120 plus 30, which is actually equals to 150 cents, which is also $1.50. So let's record down the price of the blue highlighter, $1.50, and the price of the yellow highlighter will be $1.20. Now the question asks us to find the difference between Madam Le total spending on the highlighters and Mr. Chan total spending on the highlighters. In order to find the total spending of Madam Le, it's equals to 10 multiplied by 150 plus 17 multiplied by 120, and we will get $35.40. Mr. Chan total spending is equal to 7, which is here, multiplied by 150 plus 20 multiplied by 120, which is equal to 34.50. So the difference will be equal to 35.40 from here minus 34.50, because we have to use the big number to minus the small number, which is equals to 90 cents. So let's review what we have learned. We learned about more than or less than. From here, where we can understand it better with a comparison model or model more than or less than. We also learned to use 1 unit to be the price of 1 yellow highlighter, and 1 unit plus 30 to be the price of 1 blue highlighter, so that we can create unit equation where equations on the left side is equal to the equation on the right side because of the word equal amount of money. Question 13. At the florist, there was a total of 3,616 orchids, tulips, and roses. The ratio of the number of orchids to the number of tulips was 3:5. After 40% of the orchids, 1/5 of the tulips, and 25% of the roses were sold. There were 2,644 flowers left in the end. How many orchids were there in the florist at first? To do this question, it is a good idea to use the unit table. So, this is orchid, tulip, and roses. The total is actually 3,613. So the first information that is about ratio is 3:5. 3 for orchids and 5 for tulips. The second information is that after 40% of the orchids were sold, so 40% of the orchids were sold means that we can change this to 40 over 100, okay? And if we find 3 unit, multiply by 40 over 100, because 40% of means times, orchid means 3 unit, it will be 1.2 unit. So here I will change this into unit and this into unit, and here I will minus 1.2 unit and it will become 1.8 unit. Next is 1/5 of the tulips were sold. So if this is already 5, 1/5 will be minus 1 unit and this will become 4 unit. So there was no information about the roses at first. This is the first piece of information about the roses. So I will change this 25% to 25 over 100, which means that if you reduce it, it becomes 1 out of 4. So here it will be 4 part minus 1 part to become 3 part. And therefore, the amount here is actually 2,644. And from 3,616 to become 2,644 means that there is a reduction of 3,616 minus 2,644, and we will get 972. So in order to find the number of orchids at first, we have to know that we need to find 3 units. And to find 3 units, we have to get rid of the part. So to get rid of the part, we have to first create the unit and part statement. So from here, we can see that 1.2 unit plus 1 unit is actually 2.2 unit, plus 1 part is equals to 972, and 1.8 unit plus 4 unit is actually 5.8 unit, plus 3 part, which is equals to 2,644. From this equation here, we want to make 3 part and 1 part the same, so we have to multiply by 3, and this is 6.6 unit plus 3 part, which is equals to 972 times 3 is 2,916. So what this means is that 5.8 unit plus 3 part is equal to 2,644. and 6.6 unit plus 3 part is equals to 2916. So the difference here must be because of the difference in the unit. So 6.6 unit minus 5.8 unit is actually equals to 2916 minus 2644. Therefore, 0.8 unit is equals to 272 and 1 unit is equals to 272 divided by 0.8, which will be 340. To find 3 units here, for the number of orchids at first, it will be 3 unit is equals to 3 times 340, and it is 1020. So this is our answer. Let us recap what we have learned. We learned about decimal, units. We learned about changing fraction to units as seen here. We learned to multiply percentage to units so that we can get decimal units to be able to solve the question by creating the unit at the change level and at the end. This is a unit and part questions because orchid and tulip share the same comparison, whereas roses belong to another comparison. We also can see that this is all change because every item type has changed in number. We also learned that we have to make the part the same so that we can actually get the unit, and to make the part the same, we use elimination, where we eliminate the 3 part. Question 14. Jonathan had 5 identical keyboards. The volume of each keyboard is 675 cm cubes. He stacked the 5 keyboards on top of one another neatly to form a big cube as shown below. He then took one of the 5 keyboards and dipped it into a pail of red paint. Find the area of the keyboard that was painted red. To do this question, let's start to label all the keyboards. They are all 675 cm cube. So what does it mean? It means that the total volume of this cube will be actually 675 multiplied by 5, because there are 5 of the keyboards, and it is equal to 3,375. So since this is the volume of the cube, we must remember that for volume of the cube, we know that volume of cube is equal to length from here and then times length, which is here. It is actually, it's the breadth as well, and the height is here, which is also the same. We can see that the cube of length is actually equal to 3375. And therefore, the length of the cube is actually equals to the cube root of 3375. And it will become 15 cm. So now that we know this is 15, this is 15, and this is 15, we can see that we can now find the area of the cuboid. So to understand the area of the cuboid, the part that is painted red, let me just explain how. So for example, let's use the first piece to do it. So it will be here to find the area here, right? But notice that this and the one at the side here and then the one behind here, they all share the same area, right? So how are we going to do it? So we do it by knowing that if this is 15, therefore if we divide it by 5, 15 divided by 5 is actually equals to 3. So if this is 3, okay, and this one here is 15, and there are 4 of it, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be 15, which is the length, times the breadth, which is 3. And since there are 4 of them, we multiply by 4. And it's equal to 180 cm squared. Now let's look at the top and the bottom. So the top is actually makes up of this area here, and the bottom is also the same. So in order to find these two areas, we have to find the length, which is 15, the breadth, which is 15. So it will be 15 times 15, and if we multiply it by 2, because there are 2 of them, it will be 450 cm squared. So the total area will be 180 from here, which makes up of 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, plus the top and the bottom, which is 450, and together it is 630 cm squared. Now let's recap what we have learned. We learned the importance of the volume of cube, and of course the volume of cuboid. We also learned the importance of cube and cube root. Finally, we learn about area and perimeter surface area. Question 15. The line graph below shows the number of pens sold in a bookstore each month from July to December in 2017. So, number of pens sold. Months. In which 2 months were the number of pens sold the same? B. Find the number of, B. Find the total number of pens sold from August to November. C. Each statement below is either true, false, or not possible to tell from the information given in the line graph. For each statement, put a tick in the correct column. To find the 2 months, that had the same number of pens sold, we have to look at the point here, 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 and finally here. And we really do not need at this point of the question to look for the numbers of each month. The trick to check quickly is to use a ruler and check if the 2 months are the same in height. So notice that for this one and this one, it really look almost the same, but it is not because October is lower than August. So, but if we look at this one, it is definitely the same in height. So the answer is actually in the month of September and November. To find the total number of pens sold, we have to take note of from what month to what month, because some children will choose from here to here by default, but we don't do that. So it should be from August, September, October, and November. And one more thing is, some children, they do not know how to see this part here. So it will be okay, let's count the number of horizontal line, the gaps here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since this is 50 and there are 5 gaps, each gap represents 10, because 50 divided by 5 is actually 10. So 120, this will be 190, this will be 120, and this will be 190. So the total number of pens will be 120 plus 190 plus 120 plus 190, and it will become equal to 610. To answer question C, let's read the two statements. The increase in the number of pens sold from June to July was less than the increase in the number of pens from August to September. The number of pens sold in July was 3 times the number of pens sold in May. For the first statement, we have to look for the increase from June to July as compared to August to September. There is no way to do this because we do not have the figure of June. There is no June figure here, so there's no way we can find out the increase in the number of pens from June to July. So for this question, it is not possible to tell. For the second statement, it is also not possible to tell because in May, we have no figure as well. So if there is no figure for May, we cannot calculate whether it's 2 times or 3 times, in July as compared to May. So this is also not possible to tell. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned about this line graph. We also learned about equal and also to calculate total. We learned how to break the total into their mini marking so that we know every marking represents a certain number. And we also know that we have to have the information before we can calculate. And if there is no information, then we can say that it's not possible to tell. So this is about having no information. This is about having proven information. This is all about telling a lie. Question 16. The perimeter of rectangle ABCD is 12 cm more than that of rectangle AM and D. The area of rectangle MBCN is 54 cm squared. A. Find the length of AD. B. The perimeter of square EFGH is 12 times the length of AD. Use the calculator value of pi to find the area of the circle which touches the four sides of square EFGH, correct to one decimal place. To find the length of AD, it is very important to find the exact position of the rectangles mentioned. If you do not do that, you will make a lot of mistakes. So let's be very careful now. So for here, ABCD is actually from here to here to here and then to here. Then we have AM and D, which is from here to here to here and then to here. So right now, this is the length of A, B, C, D, the yellow line. And this is from here to here to here and then to here. So the trick is, if they share a double color, it means they can cancel each other because it is not accounting for what is the difference between them. So all the double color is already out of the picture. For this side, you have to be very careful because actually this is the same as this. So it's also like a double color. So the only responsible part that account for the extra length is actually at here. MB and NC. So to find the length of MB, it will be 12 divided by 2, which is equals to 6. So this is actually 6, and this is also 6. And since the area of rectangle MBCN is 54 cm squared, so this is 54. And we know that area of a rectangle is length times breadth. So So we know that to find area of rectangle is actually length times breadth. the area is actually 54 is equals to, this is the longer part, so let's call this the length multiplied by the breadth, which is 6. So the length is actually equal to 54 divided by 6, which is equals to 9 cm. So since this is 9 cm and this is exactly on the opposite, and this is exactly on the opposite side, so we know that this is also 9 cm. Therefore, length AD is actually 9 cm. To find part B, it says that the perimeter of the square is 12 times the length of AD. So 12 times the length of AD means if AD is 9, 12 times will be 12 times 9, which is equal to 108 cm. So since this is 108 cm, we have to think about how to find the length from E to F. And since this is a square, we know that it will be 108 divided by 4 because there are 4 equal sides, which is equal to 27. In order to find the area of the circle, we can see that since this is actually 27, we can tell that this is also the diameter of the circle. And to find area of a circle, the formula is actually equal to pi r square, which is equal to pi multiplied by r. So don't take 27. You have to find the radius, which is actually 27 divided by 2, which is equals to 13.5. So pi times 13.5 times 13.5, which is equal to 57.55. And since the question asks us to round off to 1 decimal place, it will be approximately 57 point. So since this is 5, the whole number must move up and it will be 57.6 cm. Let's recap what we have learned. We learned the importance of area and perimeter of square, rectangle, and circle. We also learned about more than or less than. To check for the extra length, and the secret is actually looking for double color and single color that do not share the same length as the other rectangle. We also learned about decimal round off in case you forget to do it, and we can also see that for a square, if we divide it by 4, we find the length of the square, and the length of the square is actually the diameter of the circle, and half the diameter is actually the radius. Question 17. Rectangular tank A and B contains some water. The height of water level in tank A was equal to that in tank B at first, tank A had a base area of 3,400 cm squared and tank B had a base area of 850 cm squared. 8,500 cm cube of water was poured out from tank B, and the height of water level decreased by 40% of tank B. Some water was added into a tank A, and the height of the water level increased by 80% in tank A. A. Find the total amount of water in the tank. Find the total amount of water in the two tank. A. Find the total amount of water in the two tanks in the end. B. Some water was then transferred from tank A to tank B without spilling until the height of the water level in both tanks was the same. Again, what was the height of the new water level in each tank? To do this question, it is important to come up with a table, because the table will help you to be able to follow what the question is doing. So let's try. So we have tank A and tank B. So the height is the same. So the height here and the height here is the same. The base area is actually 3,400 for A. So 3,400 is here. Base area. And 850 is here. So now what happened is that 8,500 cm cube of water was poured out from tank B. So we have to minus 8,500 here. And some water was added into tank A. So we have to plus a sum here. Let's look at the percentage change. At here, tank B decreased by 40%, which means that 40% you should change it to units, because percentage is harder to manage compared to reduced unit. So both divide by 20 and it will become 2/5. So what happened here is this is 5, this is minus 2, which is equals to 3. So here, this is increased by 80%. So 80% is actually equals to 80 over 100, which is equals to 4/5. So at here, this is a 5, and we increase it by 4, and it becomes 9. In order to find the total amount of water, we have to use information that, in order to find the total amount of water, we have to see which column has the most information. And since the word sum is here and the number is here, we know that this one is where we should start from. And we need to call this unit, and this will be part. So the question is, why should this be unit and this be part, since the height is the same? The reason is because this represents the volume and not the height. So as this one has a bigger base area, of course the volume will be much bigger, even though both of them has the number 5 here. 5u is here and 5p is here. So please do not think that both are 5 unit. So we can now work backwards using this information here. 2 part is equal to 8,500. Therefore, 1 part is equals to 8,500 divided by 2, which is equals to 4,250. So since we have found our 1 part, let me just highlight it because this is important. So after we have found our 1 part, what can we do next? Since we know the base area, which is 850, if we use the volume represented by 5 parts to divide it by the base area, we will find the height. The reason is because volume is equal to length times breadth times height. So this is also equals to area times height. So if we can find the volume and we have the base area, we can then find the height represented at here. So let's try. Five part is equals to 5 multiplied by 4250, and it will be 21250. Since this is 21250, we can now find the height, which is equals to 21250 divided by the base area, which is here. Please do not use this number and confuse yourself. So if we divide it by 850, it's equals to 25 cm. So this is actually equals to 25 cm, and so this is also equals to 25 cm. Now that we know that the height is 25 cm for both, we can now find the total amount of water in the tank in the end. Since 5 units of water in tank A is represented by 25 cm, therefore 1 unit will represent 25 divided by 5, which is equals to 5 cm. And 9 units of tank A height is actually 9 times 5, which is equal to 45 cm. To find the volume of tank A in the end, it will be height 45 multiplied by a base area of 3,400, which is equal to 153,000 cm cubed. Now to find the volume of water in tank B, it will be equal to so first we remember that 1 part is 4250. So if 1 part is 4250, so we will know that it will be 3 multiplied by 4250, which is equal to 12750 cm cubed. So to find the total volume of A and B in the end, it will be equal to 153,000 plus 12750, and our answers for A is 165,750 cm cubed. Now let's do part B. So we can see that there is some water that was transferred from A to B. And the trick is that the height of the two tanks was the same. So in order to make the height the same, we have to pretend, okay, that the two tanks actually combine. So it means that the base area here, which is 3400, and the base area here, which is 850, let's pretend that they are stick next to each other and there is a leak, so water can flow to each other, so that the height will be the same. So let's find this total base area. The total base area will be 3400 plus 850, which is equal to 4250. So if the total base area is 4250, let's find the height now, because we can still use this formula. Volume is equals to area times height, and now the area is actually 165,750. So to find the height is actually equals to 165,750 divided by 4250, which is equal to 39 cm. Let's recap what we have learned for this question. We learned about base area times height, which is at here. We also learned about the height of Cubit and how it affects the tank volume. We also learned about equal. We also learned about volume transfer, where some water was transferred from A to B. Finally, we learned about this leakage, where we can allow the water to just flow from one tank to another so that they will have equal height. The trick is to use a common base area by adding the two base area, use the volume, divide by the base area to find the height. So we have volume, common, height. Now let me show you how to revise on concept that you're not strong in. To do so, for the concepts that I write for you for every questions, you can definitely try to key in the concept name and click search. So this is under volume, common height. make sure you choose the level that you want, the topic, and you can choose the marks. If low mark is easier for you, then try the low mark first. So if you click search, it will show you the questions that we have on the same concept. So try those questions that you think you are not confident in and see whether you can get it correct. So for example, if you try this question, okay, you can do it and click on submit. I do not advise you to keep on doing the same question and get it wrong. The important thing is understand why. Do not try to do more than 2 questions per type because iSchool had because iSchool has 9,000 over question and we have 1,000 over question for every level. There's no time to really study hard. It's really now time to study smart. So if you click submit, okay, we will have the solution there for you. And you can definitely clone again to try again if you get it wrong, either because you want to improve in your speed or you want to improve in the understanding of your concept. We have come to the end of this paper. I hope that I have helped you to gain a better understanding of this paper. For this paper itself, I spent more than 10 hours just to keep on improving it. And my motivation is you. I really want you to do better for your exam. I want you to shine because you're a star in my eyes, and I want you to grow up well and grow up to try your best to excel. It's okay to crawl first and then walk and then run, but it's not okay to give up. Remember, be unstoppable. I love you and I'll see you in the next paper. Bye-bye. Now let me show you how to revise on concept that you're not strong in. To do so, for the concepts that I write for you for every questions, you can definitely try to key in the concept name and click search. So this is under volume, common height. Make sure you choose the level that you want, the topic, and you can choose the marks. If low mark is easier for you, then try the low mark first. So if you click search, it will show you the questions that we have on the same concept. So try those questions that you think you are not confident in and see whether you can get it correct. So for example, if you try this question, okay, you can do it and click on submit. I do not advise you to keep on doing the same question and get it wrong. The important thing is understand why. Do not try to do more than 2 questions per type because iSchool has 9,000 over question and we have 1,000 over question for every level. There's no time to really study hard. It's really now time to study smart. So if you click submit, okay, we will have the solution there for you. And you can definitely clone again to try again if you get it wrong, either because you want to improve in your speed or you want to improve in the understanding of your concept. We have come to the end of this paper. I hope that I have helped you to gain a better understanding of this paper. It's okay to crawl first and then walk and then run, but it's not okay to give up. Remember, be unstoppable, and I'll see you in the next paper. Bye-bye.